Hello, for those that are joining us right now. We're going to wait a few more minutes to allow for more people to join us. But while we wait, I'm just going to ask a question. What are your plans for spring break? So if you guys have any plans for spring break, I'd like to hear them either in the chat or in the Q&A section. Because I'm really curious. I know with COVID, there's not a lot that people can do other than like going to the beach or going hiking. But does anyone have plans for the spring break? Nayeli, do you have plans for spring break?
I actually haven't thought about it. I'm kind of concentrated just on getting this week and next week done. But hopefully catch up on some new shows that I saw on Netflix on like movies and I haven't gotten the chance to watch them. Hopefully I'll do that. And maybe if possible, I'll probably look into going to the beach if possible, but I'm not too sure about that.
Yeah, when you said like I haven't even thought about it, it's like it's that time. It's like no thoughts, only thoughts about like school. But like that's it. That's all there is. Someone said in the chat mostly sleeping. Yeah, definitely after the week, right after finals, it's like 3 days dedicated to just sleeping. Yeah. Carissa, do you want to share what you're doing for spring break really quick?
Well, I don't get a spring break. I'm still working. So most UCI staff members and faculty are still working through spring break.
That's not fun. I'm sorry that you didn't get a spring break. But I think we're ready to start. Nayeli, you can go ahead and start.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. So, hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to today's Department Spotlight SARCAS Language Sciences, hosted by the Social Sciences Academic Resource Center. Today, we will talk about what language science is, what you can do with a language science degree, what you can research in the field, and finally, how to get involved in the field for a language science profession. Before we start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nayeli Lopez, and I am one of your SARC peer consultants. I am a fourth-year double major in Education Sciences and Social Policy and Public Service. I am also joined by my fellow colleague and SARC peer consultant, Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. I am Elizabeth Hafen. I am a fourth-year double majoring in Political Science and Psychology. So if you have any questions during this broadcast, please submit them through the Zoom Q&A feature, which is located at the bottom of your screen. We'll be addressing all questions at the end. As a reminder, this event will be recorded. So without further ado, let's get started. Next slide. Awesome. What is language sciences? I'm going to go off on a limb and assume that who we have here are language sciences majors. So I would assume that most of you know what language science is, but for those that are interested in the field and don't know really what it is about, language science is a system of communication with an extraordinary intricate structure. The scientific study of the mental representations of biological basis of language involves many questions, including what the nature of the system is, how humans master it so early in their cognitive development, how humans see it to communicate, and how it is implemented in human biology. So in overall, it's just how people communicate and how can we study that.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Now, what can you do with a language science degree? We just posted some, but it's not limited to this. Some positions may include teaching, language technology industry positions, teaching English as a second language abroad, technical writing, language consulting for legal firms, medical practices, and advertising, as well as interpreting and translation services. And just a little further more on what can you do with a language science degree in a graduate professional program if you're interested in advancing your educational career. Some things that you can go into are linguistics, speech language pathology, cognitive science, cognitive neuroscience, developmental psychology, natural language processing, and education. And I'll pass it back to Elizabeth.
Yeah, so one of the things that you can do in language science is do research. And even as undergraduates right now, you can go into doing research in this type of field. So some of the things that you can research are these. So bilingualism and cognition, how people who speak two languages, even three, interpret language. Computational linguistics. And this is kind of like, I started looking into this, and it's kind of like writing code and how to write that code in a very, I guess, formal technological way. Experimental approaches in language development, language structure. I'm taking a class right now in language sciences, and we're learning about language development and language structure right now. It's really interesting. We went over one of the newest languages created in the past like century, I guess. And it was Nicaraguan Sign Languages, and it was created through like, I guess, children and communication. And it's really interesting, and it was, I guess, seen and recorded because of language science research, and that's how it was analyzed. So you can do things like that, see how new languages can be created. But you can also study neurolinguistics, psycholinguistics, quantitative approaches, semantics and pragmatics, speech perceptions. So within the language science department, I guess there's a lot of things that you can study within that field.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Next is how to get involved. So we divided this into 3 branches, the first one being student organizations. Some that you may consider are Bilingual Teacher Student Association, Deaf and Hearing Culture Club, and Hearing and Speech Sciences Club. Second, we have Outreach, which is the North American Computational Linguistics Open, which is also known as NACLO. And finally, the research, as Elizabeth just mentioned. But some labs here at UCI are the Meaning Lab, Bilingualism, Mind and Brain Lab, and Computational of Language Laboratory.
So the main question, I guess, many people ask is, how can I get started, and where do I begin? So here in front of you are some few websites. I'm going to go over them. So the first one I'm going to go over is Focus to Career. Focus to Career is an amazing career and educational planning assessment tool. The site provides career assessments, information about occupations, occupational comparisons, and action planning tools. The best part about this website is that there is a UCI specific component. It'll allow you to search through the occupations by UCI degrees. So what I mean by this is that you'll be able to select your major, say language sciences, and see the occupations held by those degree holders. Another reason why Focus to Career should be your first step is because of their self-assessments. It's important to find an occupation that matches your personal attributes. So this site has assessments that cover work interest, values, personality, skills, and what you like doing on your leisure time. So it'll kind of take an assessment on all 5, and it'll combine them, and the result will be like what could be your best fit. The Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Handbook is another way to browse occupations. You can search occupations by median pay, education level, number of new jobs projected, and growth rates. Next, we have a few networking platforms. LinkedIn, Handshake, the Anteater Network are all 3 popular sites that you can use to connect with professionals in your field of interest. The 3 vary a little bit in their functions. The Anteater Network is specifically for networking with UCI alumni. After you make an account and join, you'll be able to apply for their mentorship program, see UCI specific events, explore the alumni net community, and look for internships/job opportunities offered by alum. One feature that could be particularly helpful for those of you who have a vague idea of what you like to pursue is the experimental learning projects. Learning projects are ways to gain real-world experience under the guidance of a professional without long-term commitment. Some of these projects last only 2 weeks, so if you want to test the waters, I highly recommend checking this out. LinkedIn and Handshake, as well as other third-party sites like Monster or Indeed, have pretty extensive internship and job databases. LinkedIn in particular has a greater emphasis on networking. In addition to UCI alumni, you'll be able to find professionals from different schools all over the world. While Focus Your Career in the Labor Statistics website can give you several possibilities, just know that this is not the end. Through LinkedIn, you might be able to find people who have taken unconventional paths to get where they are at now. Next slide.
Thank you for sharing that, Elizabeth. Next is our Q&A session. So I know that was a lot of information we just presented. So if you have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A or the chat box as well, and we'll get to them. So any questions? If you want us to go back to anything in specific, we can do that as well.
I know there's the typical question among you say undergraduates, which is, how do I reach out to professors who are doing these labs, or professors are in the field, and how do I begin doing research? And I always say that there's no right way, but never be scared to just reaching out. Just an email and just asking them, hey, when are your office hours? I'm really interested and I would like to get to know the field a little bit more. Tell me about your research, and just start with a conversation. Right now it's through Zoom. So I would say, can I make an appointment with you through Zoom to talk about your research? I want to get involved. And that's how it starts. And I guess after that, you can make a choice of whether you would like to join them, and just kind of make that bridge to them. But even if you don't know the professor, never taking the class with them, I will always say just reach out to them and get to know them. That's the best way to start doing research, at least here, because I mean, I think professors are just really open to taking people in and guiding them. So yeah, that's a great way to start doing research.
Looks like we have a question in the Q&A. Elizabeth, can you take a look at that? It's not letting me open it.
Yeah, so the question is, can my LinkedIn profile be looked over during the SARC consultation? Of course. You can make an appointment with us through the SARC website, and we can look over multiple things. We can look over your resume. We can look over cover letters if you're going to an internship. Whatever you might need, we can go over and look at it together. If you want to go over a LinkedIn profile, we can definitely do that. Sorry. No, but I was just going to say that this is a great question. But go ahead, Nayeli.
I was just going to say, if there's no further questions, I'm going to move on to the next slide. So any last questions that you want to send, feel free to do so. Okay, I will go ahead and go to the next slide. We just want to say thank you once again for joining us today. We hope you were able to take away something from today's event. The social sciences academic resource is available to support your professional endeavors. We provide feedback on your resume and cover letters. We also provide guidance and assistance during your graduate school application process. Schedule a consultation with us today to talk about internships or graduate school. For more information, you can visit the link that I will be inserting in the chat. And then for whoever was interested in having their LinkedIn looked over, just press on our link and you will be able to find that information on how to schedule with us. And if there's no last questions, thank you so much once again for joining us, and take care, everyone.